I am so excited for this podcast. You have no idea. Introducing Carleton Brooks, otherwise known as CB, maybe the country's most well-known horseman, inducted into the Hall of Fame, the U.S. Equestrian Hunter Jumper, all Lifetime Achievement Award. What else do you? You're a clinician. You're a trainer. You're the best at everything.
I don't know. I'm trying to always improve every day.
And joining us with him is one of his students, Djuna-Bear Lauder.
Hi, nice
Hi,
to meet
Djuna.
you.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Djuna also happens to be my daughter.
Thank you for having me, Miss Stein. I forgot what your last name was for a second.
Okay, we're gonna get serious for a second. We're gonna turn things around a little bit today. We're gonna have some fun stuff coming for you guys. So let's start off with sort of connecting what I do with what you do. Now, a lot of people think that being a horseman is about control, but there's a lot more that's really going on. In fact, control is probably the least of it.
Correct. Control is what it appears, and there's an approach to it where you can control or you can bond and work with them as a team and a unit. I don't want to get off target here, but so you have to lower yourself to their level, mimic them basically, or dance with them, and then you can slowly sway them. They are herd animals, so they have to feel you're part of the herd. The same thing goes with coaching, or I don't say teaching. I don't think I'm a teacher. I create situations and environments for the student to learn. When they learn something, they actually figure it out for themselves. True? When we teach them, that is giving them direction, and it'd be just like sitting in a lecture hall all day. You don't really learn. And you create situations that are more solid than just riding a horse. You can sit atop a horse, or you can sit around the horse and become the horse's one unit. So your body mimics their body. So if they move a little bit with one shoulder one way, your body naturally follows it. It's like figure skating or high-end dancing, but if you want to adjust it, then you pull away or something with that subtle movement. Everything's very subtle.
Right, but it has nothing to do with dominance or control.
I don't believe so.
Right, I wouldn't think so.
Horses are herd animals, and they're also flight animals.
Right, because they're used to being
So
prey.
they use that flight instinct, so they're very in tune to us, and their senses are much more in depth than what we ever would imagine.
Well, don't you think on some level, like a horse mirrors what we don't know about ourselves? Like you can get on a horse and you can try to mask your fear with confidence, but a horse is going to see through that in 2 seconds, right? Or feel through that.
Great question to ask your daughter, actually.
Okay, let's ask my daughter that.
I'm nervous.
Oh, please. Since when are you shy?
No,
Come
I'm just
closer to
kidding.
the microphone,
Just kidding.
honey.
I'm not shy at all. I think that's completely accurate. I don't think you can hide anything from a horse. You can't mask your fear. You can't mask your inconfidence. You can't hide anything. They feel and they know everything. They're the most sensitive and intuitive creatures on this planet.
So what do you have to do in order, like, how do you adjust your breath? What are you changing so that they don't sense fear?
This is what I think you have to confront the fear. I mean, part of working through that is actually going face to face with your fear and becoming comfortable with it. You don't conquer your fear. Your fears don't disappear. You become comfortable with them. So I think that's how it happens. And I mean, since I was a little girl, I've been riding with Carleton for almost 17 years now, so it's a long time. And Carleton used to teach me how to change my heart rate because he could tell by watching me ride the horses and seeing how the horses were reacting to me. Carleton could tell if my heart rate was picking up or if I was nervous.
Right. Well,
and Carleton taught me how to lower my heart rate through breath work and just through relaxing and visualization and becoming comfortable with my fears.
so you grew up in the Kundalini community, you grew up as a yogi, and something that we teach in yoga is to regulate your system. I mean, riding a horse is a form of meditation, isn't it?
So let's go one step deeper.
Yeah.
Right to the spirit factor a little bit. A horse, as you approach them, remember they can see far away. They watch your body language. They've already read what you're like before you come up. We've worked really hard for Djuna's career that she will take a moment, and as you've taught her to meditate, she will get in that frame before she ever comes near her horse. A horse can tell when you're joyful and non-threatening, but when it comes time to concentrate on what we're asking them to do, which is really a task they weren't made for, in our thing for show jumping competition, she will walk away. And that's why most of the time she wants to be by herself, and she will become in the frame that she wants that horse to know she is long before she ever approaches him. And people that are on the phone when they come to their horse and stuff, they never get the top performance. Everything has to be put away. You become one-on-one. You become one. And you have to spiritually feel them.
So do you think it's a spiritual relationship, the relationship between rider and horse?
I think in the way some people would see it, yes. I've never totally approached it that way, but I've always made sure that horse knew.
You mean you didn't approach it like a yogi, Carleton?
I can't bend over enough to do yoga.
Yeah, you can barely walk.
I can barely walk. But you have to become them, and you have to be them. So they need to know you're part of the herd. And some horses, there's always a dominant one and a passive one. And any horse that is nervous or anything, you have to make sure you can get them in a frame of mind where they come to and either are the dominant one or the passive one. Most riders and competitors try to be dominant. The best riders and competitors usually aren't the dominant one. When it comes time to perform, the horse becomes the dominant one.
Don't you think that's how life works? Don't you think the people who navigate life best sort of let it flow, let everything flow, let the energy flow, and don't try to control? It's sort of that release of control when you find yourself taking off.
Yes, I think you have to be dominant first to set your precedent, and then you have to give it up. It's just like when we approach a horse, and she, standing back now, watching her and see how she basically, she doesn't even realize it, Taylor, but she mimics what I've done for years. And we've had some challenging horses that she has won amazingly amounts on, and the foundation she has given them has carried on through their career after they've left us. Horses don't forget. Just like people really always have that memory. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
I also, back to the dominance thing, there's a huge difference between being persistent and being dominant.
Correct.
And being ambitious and going after something you want and working hard for it and studying it.
Diligence.
But when it comes to actually competing, then you're working with your horse.
Right.
And you're working towards something that you're super ambitious about, and you're guiding your horse and you're giving your horse confidence. But at the same time, like you said, you are going with it. You can't control the outcome.
Well, so oftentimes I'll see you ride, and I think that the average, the lay voyeur doesn't realize what's really going on. It looks like you're doing, right? It looks effortless. What is going on?
That's on you.
I think that's a great point. People have been educated, unfortunately, and been led to believe that we just control them. And even if you go back to the old days with the horse pulling the milk wagon, the horse knew where to walk forward and stop. The talent your daughter has is creating that foundation. And I think, as we discussed before we started, her foundation, I think, will carry her far in a lot of different walks of life. And I'll give you an example, and I don't really care to talk about myself, but Only because we're talking about this
We
foundation.
want you to. That's why we're interviewing you.
I know. So a girl showed up with a horse I had 6 years ago, Quinn. And I've watched his career, and I always wanted him back. And one day she said, when I'm done with him, you can actually have him back. I thought, oh, I can see myself as an old man. And so she came to the horse show, and I watched him, and I helped her a little bit. And then she comes up and goes, well, I'm pregnant. I can't ride anymore. Do you want to show him? Now, last time I pulled my boots out of the box, they had mold inside them.
Yum.
Because I've retired a couple times. And I had retired before I won a national championship with this horse, actually, years ago. But so I rode him the first week, and he was erratic. And of course, we were laughing because I actually did it. I hadn't even jumped a jump for 6 months. And so we rode him, and I said to the girl, I was having a little fun. I said, how about you let me have him in our stable next week? I'll do it, as for me. She goes, sure, whatever. So we take him down to that barn where he had been before, and I watched his demeanor change immediately. And we put him back, I believe, in the same old stall even that he'd had 6 years prior. And we brought him out, and that horse acted like he'd never been gone, to the point where I rode him and put less bridle on than we used to use, and less everything, and less preparation. And he went around and was pretty good the first day, and gave me some efforts that some horses wouldn't have done, because he trusted the situation. Same grooms, same everything. And then the second day, I'm competing, and we do 2 competitions back to back, meaning we do one, we take a pause, we do the second one. So when I'm doing the second competition, and this only takes 2 minutes apiece, but I'm going to the last 4 obstacles, and I start laughing out loud. And I face up to him, and I'm laughing. And I said, I got to really tell myself quietly, I need to pay attention. This horse knew exactly what to do, knew exactly what I wanted, and knew exactly what I was going to do. And by the time I came to the last 2 obstacles, all I could do was beam. The program was still there, the foundation. So I think...
So is it memory or is it foundation?
No, that was instincts from trusting,
Instinct.
and you knew he was going to give me 100%. But it goes over to parenting in life. If parents would work with their children the same way, spiritually, and giving them the attention they need, they would find the foundation would be much more structured than it is in the new generation, meaning basically after you, but your peers too. And that's what I've learned from 50 years.
And do you think discipline is a factor in that?
Discipline on yourself. And when we start with a horse, we basically say we're going to boot camp. Now, we don't do it in that sense, but it's a format. We have our parameters, same with the student. And then they figure out how to get the most out of those parameters. Those make our national champion horses last forever and continue. Djuna's career, she had the parameters to start with. She was given latitude, I guess is the word, to find her own way, much to your chagrin sometimes when you were pulling your hair out. And it's carried far and wide, but as a young adult, we see the difference.
Oh, there's no question.
So, and that's what I think most parents don't realize when they're investing in this above average sport, that you're really not just doing the competition. You are actually raising a much better young adult. Will carry on forever. One thing is, as you know, with your own daughter, Djuna, she can go anywhere in the world on her own, miss planes, lose her baggage. She'll deal with it. She doesn't panic. She just takes care of the situation. She can meet all walks of life, and she can read a person a long ways away. She knows which people she should stay away from.
She's become the horse.
Well, it's the survival. It's the survival
If everything's gone to plan, then yes, I've become the horse.
It's the survival instinct.
You could teach two students the exact same technique, and you'll get magic from one and not the other.
Okay, so with that, you have to find another way to help them learn. If you're trying to teach them, you're not going to get anywhere. And I had a geometry teacher that all class came in and all had the same algebra teacher the year before. Well, we didn't learn algebra. So he goes, oh my gosh, I have to teach you both. So he started teaching us. We got through algebra, which didn't make any sense to me anyways. But then geometry, he did it through visual. He drew the picture in our mind and was always there to tutor us, but never tell us what to do. I followed his method of teaching. I was just impressed by him. And I followed his method of teaching the rest of my life. I think that parenting, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but parenting, you have to allow your child to learn self-discipline, but don't take the interest away. Let them capitalize on their interest to learn more self-discipline.
Look, that's what I did with my daughter. When she wanted all these great horses when she was a child, I'm like, no, you're going to have to work. And that kept her hungry. I'm like, you're going to ride donkeys until you prove to me that this is what you want to do. And that was always the difference between me and a lot of the other moms.
Well, she had to work for it. Your family gave us enough latitude that we could let her learn a little bit the hard way.
Yeah, well, we like that.
And she never took it for granted.
You've worked with many trainers throughout your career. What would you say is the fundamental difference between the way Carleton teaches and other trainers that you've worked with, excluding his wife?
That's a really good question. I think there are a lot of things that separate Carleton from every other person.
Right, I do too.
Trainer, horse person or not. But one of the things that really separates Carleton's training from any other training ever is that, there's an element of figure it out. Like he said, you're not controlling anything. You're creating an environment for someone to learn. And growing up with Carleton and, learning under his wing for my entire life, I was put in a lot of situations where I wasn't told what to do. I was told to figure it out, and then I was given guidance how to figure it out better. But, all trainers are different. I think Carleton's horsemanship really sets him apart.
I was going to say that's right.
His horsemanship really sets him apart from everybody. Carleton's 50% horse, which means that he's only 50% person, too.
Which is why you communicate so well.
Probably. But yeah.
But you were so proud of working in the barn and all that hard work you put you through. You were not a valet rider.
How could you not be proud of it?
What'd you do today?
Oh, today after going to yoga with you, I went straight to the barn.
So today I was out taking care of something, and Djuna came and adjusted and got on her horse, and I watched her walk toward me, and I got this big grin on my face because the horse was so peaceful, and the horses should be a little fresh. He's been on rest.
Yeah.
And the symmetry of them together, that to me made my day. And I didn't say anything to her about it, but to watch those little things means somewhere the foundation is correct. Going back to something, though, I want to bring up a couple years ago at the Washington International Horse Show, you and Djuna and I were there, and we had a bad day. We had a bad day for being at a national championship, which we know we're capable of being in the top. We had a very bad day. And so you were giving us some time. So we sat in the stands, and I looked at her, and she just thought I was going to tell her what we had, whatever. I looked at her and said, Djuna, I'm really, really proud of you. And she was speechless. She couldn't believe it. Guess what she did the next morning at 7 a.m.? She walked in the ring first and beat them all.
Yep.
And we didn't do any different preparation. Behind every high-performing person, there is a team, a pyramid.
So, Carleton, do you think that her growing up sort of as a yogi complemented her riding?
She's so in tune with her body and her mind. That's what we were discussing earlier, too, that anything, yoga, meditation, we all meditate. And she brought back the breathing. Horses sense your breathing, and they breathe the same way as a rider. So if you can mimic what you want them to do, you want them to slow down, you have to slow your breathing down. Like she spoke of heart rate. It actually goes through the breathing too. But she, in the middle of a actual class, you could watch her totally adjust everything. Her breathing, her heart rate, her body posture, and she'd be successful. She can adjust with them, but she'll mimic them first, and then they don't realize that she's leading them. They think they're leading her, but really she's the leader.
Let me ask you both this question. Carleton, I'm going to ask you first. Do you visualize? Do you use visualization as a tactic?
Immensely. You ride the horse with feel. Feel comes from inside, just like a relationship. You start a relationship with sense. You have to sense things. You can tell me if you object here, okay? And if you sense it, you learn feel. You don't get taught feel. So many people in life try to teach you how to feel. No one can teach you. It's the same with the horse. The sense, you teach sense. You've heard me say that.
Yeah, it's the sixth sense.
I teach you sense. I help you learn sense so you can learn feel. Yeah. And I'm getting off target here.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Visualization. Can you walk me through that process?
Of the horse?
No, of you visualizing.
So, well, I mean, I'm old. Give me a break.
I want to. Okay, so what my followers, what the people who listen to this
Right.
podcast, that's a big part of our practice.
Right.
So everyone has a different technique for visualization.
Okay.
I just want to know what you're seeing, how you prep for it, and how you make it manifest.
Okay, so visualization, you only see the good in what you visualize. No negatives. It comes to your lifestyle, her lifestyle, my lifestyle, positive. And I write it in my mind and through my body exactly how I do it. And then I take what options might come up and create all those situations to make them productive beforehand. And it becomes second. So when I actually ride in the competition ring, I've already ridden the course 30 times. Or you've already dribbled the basketball down to that perfect layup. And if you practice it and can see it and sense it, even though you're not actually doing it yet, it will become second nature when you actually do it.
And do you visualize the outcome, the actual victory at the end, or you don't go that far?
Coming from the Midwest, there's no victory.
Okay.
We can improve it. I don't say we can do it better. As you'll find with my main man, what we call David?
Oh,
Right-hand man.
My right hand.
he runs the show.
Yeah.
Your boss.
Your boss.
I would ride, compete on a lot of horses, and as I rode out of the competition ring, I would say, we need to do this, this, and this. I was already on tomorrow. And something people miss today is they don't savor what they've done. At the same time, you can figure out what you're going to do better.
Well, it doesn't sound like you savor what you've done. If the minute you walk out of the ring, you're on to the next.
I'm well aware that's happened. And unfortunately, that's what they have therapy for. I never did. You asked me if I was in the Hall of Fame, I had to think about it. I really didn't remember. And I couldn't tell you what I've done in my career. I really couldn't. There's a couple moments, but I never took the time, and I think that's one of the biggest regrets I have in life.
Is that a regret?
Yep. And you have to acknowledge yourself. I think that's where we're going with this.
You have to honor yourself.
Yeah. Instead, you wait for someone else to honor you, or some people obviously take it the other extreme the other way. She's very humble about it too, if you notice. And hopefully I was a decent role model. But she also would take a victory, and that was it. Okay, tomorrow, next week, I'd have to tell her to slow down for a minute in a good way. But I think any high-producing competition person has to find when they should savor it. And I'm not talking about for 5 minutes. I'm talking about you go back and you go over it and think, wow, I did that better. And I don't think either one of us, and this is probably my fault, I don't think I allowed her to learn that enough yet. I think I still have that to give her.
I don't know about that. Djuna, what do you, first of all, I want to hear about your manifestation. Yeah, yes, but first I want to hear.
I have a lot to say about it.
Okay, I do want to hear about that, but I also want to hear, don't you think Carleton taught you how to savor the moment? I feel like he did.
Absolutely. And Carleton, beyond savoring the moment, Carleton taught me how to be present and grateful for the moment and everything that led up. I mean, does Carleton gloat? No. Does he get a big head over his wins? No. I would never. No one should be like that. Carleton takes the wins and he moves on.
But we're talking about honoring the moment, honoring yourself in that moment. It all comes down to self-love to some degree, and not rushing through life.
Carleton taught me not to rush. That was one of the big things.
I think so too.
That was one of the big things.
How many times did I have to put you back on your heels?
I got in trouble for rushing a couple times.
Yeah, so he's being hard on himself right now.
No, it's my nature, Taylor. I really don't think of it that way.
Okay, tell me about your visualization practice,
Okay,
Djuna.
so visualization has always been just the biggest part of my life. But something that I had to really work through, was visualization. You think it's just visual. You close your eyes, you picture something, and that's manifestation. But that's really not what it is. It's when you visualize something, you have to experience all 5 senses. So you're not just visualizing. You're hearing everything. You're feeling everything. You're really living that moment before it actually happens, thus creating it in front of you. Mm-hmm. And so I remember being like a little girl, and you would tell me, and all the sports coaches I worked with would tell me, you have to visualize the win, visualize the course. And at first I just closed my eyes and I'd picture it, and nothing would happen. I'd be like,
it's a really hard thing to take direction.
It's really difficult. And I was getting so frustrated. Nothing. We were caught in a slump. It was a 6-month-long slump. And nothing was working. I was visualizing and I was meditating, which at that point I guess I thought was just closing my eyes and breathing. But, you grow and you learn. Yeah. Carleton would put a bit in my mouth sometimes and be like, how does it feel?
No, that was to let her know when her hands were too rough. No, make you sound abusive. I would tell her, because she has this instinct to mimic the horse. How does the horse sense it and see it? And she learned how a horse actually sees. I call it visualizes. And then I said, you be the horse, forget you. And she would be the horse. I think she still does it today, Taylor. I think she still becomes the horse. And then she gets on and rides the horse. And I think you still do that, right? You basically feel that horse's footprints. And of course, it's getting an old tired statement, but feel every horseshoe nail head in the shoe on the way up.
I promise you, nobody listening to this knows that that old tired statement.
Sorry, but if you feel it from the ground up,
horse head in the shoe nail.
No, sorry, you can take that out. Take it out. If you feel from the feet up, how's that? That better?
Yeah, that's good.
Feel it from the feet up. And she would do that. And I said, so move your toes even to the point like how the hoof is going. And I mean, we had to take it to an extreme a little bit so that she would break through. And she did it. And all of a sudden I see her at the competition ring now. When she's up doing the big jumpers, I see her over there going, and she's not going through what she's going to do. She's going through what the horse needs to do. And then she can put the frosting on the cake with the pilot, which is her, the guider, not even a pilot, a guider. And she usually can pull it off in a major tough situation.
CB, what do you see as the future of the industry? Like we were talking before this podcast about back in the day, it was a tiny industry. Right? It was really small, and everybody knew each other. And there's just been a whole renaissance of the riding world. It's massive. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. People are bringing in fortune. First of all, do you think that is helping the way we treat the horses? Like, I know that people say that horses like what they do, but at the end of the day, we all know that, a free bird doesn't look for a cage. So do you think that the industry is becoming kinder? What kind of growth do you see, and what do you attribute the expansion to? Or is it just money like everything else?
No, I actually think that the money's capped a little bit on what it's going to get them. Sure, the top quality horses are always going to be pricey, and I think that there's a big renaissance among us elder trainers that realize that it needs to become more of not a social activity, but more of an enjoyable moment.
Yeah.
And learning needs to be enjoyable. And I think people have lost sight of learning should be enjoyable. And we've started some new associations and everything, which really we're trying to make it back into, say, a sport. Unfortunately, as you said, it's industry. And California hurt us the worst because they called it an industry when it was still a sport.
Oh, I didn't know that. When was that?
Oh, early 70s.
Okay.
It became an industry, and it wasn't agriculture anymore or anything.
That must have killed you.
And then sports have changed, obviously. I mean, they don't call the NFL a sport anymore. It's an entertainment industry.
Is that
Did
true?
You know that?
No,
That
I did
ruled all
not.
the way up to the Supreme Court. Yep. And because it's more for TV. And we're not wanting the horses and our competitions to go that way anymore. And I think when you get to the Olympics, you see it as a sport, not an industry. And I think there has to be joy in life now. And if we could get everyone to put down their little cell phone and learn to communicate, which I've offered to adjust some of the specifications for our competitions so that really they have to learn to talk to each other again. And they've taken that away from us. The whole world has, obviously. And how many times were you told to put your phone down? Not ask, told. No offense.
Are you saying not enough, right?
Not enough. And
I agree.
I think that the phones have hurt us. And sure, it's a modern world, and everyone wants to watch their video right away. I'll give you a little glimpse of watching videos of your competition. If you...
Oh, let me just explain to everyone what this means. So, in the riding world, after the girls compete, they love to watch their rounds. And so as soon as they're off the horse, they go onto their phones and they watch their rounds. They criticize their own rounds. They look at everybody else's. They compare. It's the whole Instagram phenomenon where you're not just back to savoring the moment. It's a comparison. And so Carleton has been a very, very strong proponent of this, and opponent of this.
Yeah.
And Djuna was raised where she was not allowed to jump off the horse and go onto Instagram. As a matter of fact, for a while, Carleton had her stop with the professional photographers because he thought it was more important for her to be in the moment, and that the whole comparison was actually hurting her riding. So he's going into that right now.
Yeah. So when we had VHS, most people probably weren't born back then. But I would send our clients over to the video booth and have them watch their video round in reverse.
Oh.
On slow motion. And it took the companies a long time to understand what they wanted. But when they did it, the customers, I don't watch it going forward. Watch it in reverse. Because all errors happen prior to when they show up and appear.
Right.
And as we've had the standard mantra, it happened 2 jumps before. How many times have you proven that to be correct?
A lot.
Yeah. And so people look at it like, well, I don't really see it. So they have a different perception of what they did incorrectly or could improve. Whereas if you look back, you can see where the situation actually evolved.
That's where it originated when the first, right.
Yeah. And I've given up on that because people don't want to.
Have you done that, Djuna?
Watch my video backwards?
Yeah.
Yes. Many times.
That's genius, actually.
And
Watch it backwards over.
It's helped her a lot. And when she is questioning something, and she could be questioning me, she could be questioning the situation. It didn't matter. Go back a couple jumps. Watch what happened. Go back a couple jumps. And she comes up and goes, okay. That's all our conversation. Okay. And people don't utilize what we have today in an advantageous way. Instead, they're trying to toot their own horn instead of learn by what they have available to them.
Well, another rule we had growing up, and one that I still perpetuate today, is I watch the video once, and that's it. Good round, bad round. I watch it once. I see what was good. I see what was bad. I just want to keep that feeling of riding the course fresh in my mind, and that's the only reason why I watch a video. I don't watch it so I can post it on Instagram. I don't watch it so I can just criticize myself and see why I made this error and how stupid I was to make this error. I watch it to keep the feeling fresh in my head, and that's it. And then I'm done.
Okay. One thing we've, I don't know what the word is, preached, is no one's stupid. We all do foolish or stupid moments, but no one is stupid. You are where you are, and you can always build from that. And if she would beat herself up, I'd get mad at her and say, oh, I did that stupid. I said, stop right now. And I think that it comes from our base in our life that you have to find everyone is at a different level. And we all operate from a little different angle. But we have to realize that we're doing it for a reason, and we need to capitalize on what we can do well. So no one's stupid.
Well, Carleton, what would you say the best ride is the common denominator amongst all the best riders? What do all best riders have in common?
Discipline.
Discipline
And some kind of empathy for the animal. But that's magnified because their whole team. The empathy is with the whole team. And there's no anger.
You mean team, the grooms, the trainer, the team, the whole team?
Everyone. Anyone they deal with that day. You go by a horseshoer or a blacksmith, even though they're not shoeing your horse, you communicate with them. And when you do need them, even though they aren't on your roster to work for you, because you showed them empathy, they treat your horse with empathy.
It's understandable why the riding community is so insular, because they have their own set of values, their own set of morals, their own vocabulary, their own business hours. I mean, it's a world, it's a subculture. And I loved it. And I can see now, talking to you, why I've been so drawn to it. I mean, it really does mirror, well, I was in the horse community with you guys, but it really mirrors also my spiritual community. It's very similar.
You have many times used the analogy of both, and I've listened, whether I might have not acknowledged it or not.
Or understood it at the time.
Well, I'm one of those that has to walk away and go over it in their mind. I'm not quick that way. But the culture is we all have a passion, and the communication of people is so, well, we're all doing horses, so we're all mimicking them a little bit. And you can always tell the odd one that just thinks they're going to sit atop the horse and do it. And the rest of us, we just flow together. We're one big team, even though we're all competitors against each other. And I think that in other walks of life, people need to think about that.
Oh, I do too. These lessons, what we're discussing today, I think is applicable to everything in life. I don't think we're just talking about riding horses right now. And that's sort of what I love about this sport, is that it really is applicable. I mean, that's why I wanted my daughter in it. I thought it made her a better person, and I was right. I mean, I was right. She's learned from the best. I love the whole team. I miss the community in my life now that she's off and away at school. But it was an experience that I would never, ever give up. And I would live it over and over again if I could. It's a beautiful way to live. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so both of you, thank you so much for joining me today. Carleton, what an honor, honestly.
It's been a very honorable.
I mean, co-parenting with you has been one of the best experiences of my life. Actually, and your wife. So we've had we've had a big family. Djuna, any last words?
Thank you. Am I allowed to call you Mom?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
my
Mom.
name.
Thank you for having me, Mom. It was really cool being on here.
Thank you for being a great daughter and a great equestrian. And Carleton, thank you for holding our hands through everything.
It's actually been a wonderful honor. Thank you very much.
Love you.